Well, good morning. It's very exciting to be here at Unity Radiant Light once more with all of my dear friends. I always look forward to being here with you and seeing your bright faces and seeing the that Christ presence shining through your eyes. It's just a beautiful thing to see. Um, Today's talk is about the fifth unity principle, which kind of wraps them all up together. It's about moving our feet. That's what I call it. The fifth unity principle is about not just knowing the principles, but putting them into action, putting them out there, being an example for people to see and to lead by example so that you can make a difference, help make more of a difference, right, in the world. We've been talking for the last several times that I've been here about these unity principles. The first one is about God is everywhere present. And the second one is that people are inherently good because we are made in the image and likeness of God. And so it's God is and I am is the second one, that little shortcut. And then the next three are I think, I pray, I live. I think because we create our experiences through our thoughts. We pray in order to keep us to help center ourselves sometimes and to help us in manifesting those experiences. And then we get moving, right? Then we take action. And that's what the Unity 5 principles are all about, especially the fifth one. I will confess that the fifth Unity principle is my absolute favorite. And I think it's my favorite because it reminds me over and over again, it is not enough to just read about this stuff, especially in today's world. The things that are going on in the news and on social media and all of this other stuff, the actual things that are happening in different parts of our country and different parts of our world. I'm reminded that I need to do what I am called to do and not sit back and wait for it to just happen. Right? The old joke about, I need a job. God, please get me a job. And then sitting on the couch waiting for the job to fall into our lap. Right? That's not how this works. We ask and then we maybe act as if already got the job, but we have to do the footwork. We have to look for openings. We have to see what we're qualified for. We have to actually apply. We have to actually send in the application for whatever job we're applying for, right? It all takes work. It takes action, and that's what this is all about. This whole year, as I've been moving through this year, for me, has been about this idea of thinking about what do I believe? Do I still believe in these 5 unity principles? If I do believe in them, what am I doing to demonstrate them? And if I'm questioning whether I believe them or not, I am diving deeper. Right? So one of the ones I could look at is, do I really believe that people are inherently good when all around me I'm seeing evidence that they're not so good, right? For one reason or another. And so I have challenged myself, and then in those people who have heard me speak, I'm also challenging you to keep the questions coming, to keep asking yourself, do I still believe this? Because if I do, if I ultimately believe that people are inherently good and maybe they're just not showing it right now, maybe they're hiding it really well, how am I demonstrating that we are all inherently good? How can I make a difference if I'm not demonstrating the principles that I actually believe in? Right? That's a big question. And so the beauty of being in unity to me is that we get to play with this. We get to experience or experiment rather, not experience. We experience too, but we get to experiment with these thoughts that we have. we get to experiment with, well, what if I try this? Or what if I do that? What if I help someone in this particular way? It's demonstrating how we are inherently good. It's demonstrating how our thoughts can create our experiences, right? You may not be there. And so I encourage you to be very gentle with yourself. When you ask yourself these questions, I will remind you, do not judge what the answer is. Okay, the answers are for you to look at and determine, do I really think this way? Okay. So more about moving forward and moving our feet. I found a couple of quotes online that, I like to share quotes once in a while. Robert Downey Jr. said this, and I found it fascinating. The principle of moving forward, as though you have the confidence to move forward, eventually gives you confidence when you look back and see what you've done. And I don't know about you, but I really related to that. Like I get that kind of thing when there were tough challenges in my life and I actually started to take action, even if I was scared, right? It did help to boost the confidence a little bit. And I'll admit I might have pretended a little bit that I had confidence when I was first starting out, right? Um, First times I spoke as a Unity LUT at a Sunday service was a little terrifying, to say the least, right? And that happened for me down in Fort Myers, and that was a pretty big congregation at the time when I was speaking back then, and it was, 200 people. And I will admit, I kind of pretended like I had confidence. And once I started getting feedback and everything, it was wonderful. Everybody, Unity family is just awesome to be around, but the confidence did build. And so that's why I related to that. The principle of moving forward as though you have the confidence to move forward eventually gives you the confidence. So take that for what it's worth. And George Lucas has a quote also. He says, you simply have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going, put blinders on and plow right ahead, right? How many times can I say how I have been distracted one way or another, right? Like those blinders just kind of fall off and I'm going squirrel and dog and, I'm distracted in 50 different directions. But we could keep putting one foot in front of the other. I have a good friend of mine who always used to say, when he got extremely stressed, this is Catholic priest, by the way, he would say, right foot, left foot, breathe. Right foot, left foot, breathe. Now, I don't know if that does anything for you, but boy, did it do something for me, because it really helped. First of all, to know that someone in that position, who I assume just had his act together, right, and just was very this is before I found Unity, but very spiritual, and he just was my guru. He would say some days are tougher than others. It's not all pink roses and lollipops and bubblegum, right? So keeping in mind that when I put the fifth principle into action, it's about me moving my feet, right foot, left foot, breathe. Oh, and don't forget, breathing means in and out, not just in and then hold your breath the rest of the time. That's what I do when I'm stressed as well, right? In and out. There's got to be a releasing of something, but it's all very helpful. There is an African proverb that says, when you pray, move your feet, right? So, okay. What does it mean for us in practical terms to move our feet? What actions can we take? There's lots of options, right? We have access to an infinite supply of divine ideas that could come to us. But just a few that came to mind for me is, well, prayer and meditation, first of all. Maybe just being in the silence, maybe not necessarily formally praying or formally doing a meditation of some sort, but just being in the silence. Often that's when spirit will speak to me. We can volunteer. We can volunteer on an individual level to help a friend or a neighbor. Yes. We can help our neighbors with doing stuff, or we can volunteer at a nonprofit organization. Volunteering to read the daily word, you know, little things like that, right? But that's an action. It may seem small, but I'm going to suggest that there are no small actions. Everything that you do that can put this into play, that you can stir up the energy in a positive way, is all very helpful. All very helpful. The last two I came up with are exceptionally special for me. Active listening. You know, when you're in that conversation with that friend and they kind of talk over you, or they're not really listening, like you can tell they're either looking at their phone or their responses are not quite in tune with the importance of what you've been sharing all along, and they're kind of like, yeah, you know, we all have some people in our lives like that, right? I believe that the best gift anybody can give me is to be fully present with me and to actively listen to what I'm having to say. It means the world to me. It's probably because I feel like when I was younger, I wasn't heard. That's what I feel like. That, no, it wasn't always the case, truthfully, but it's what I felt like, that nobody was listening to me, nobody was hearing me, right? That kind of thing. And so I want to be heard. And in order for me to be heard, I will actively listen to the people that I am with. If I want more people to actively listen to me, then I need to actively listen more. It's what I want is what I need to do more of. I may have told this story before, but very quickly I will say there was an LUT down in Fort Myers who came into the room one day for a class, and she said, you know what, I feel like I don't have any time. I just don't have enough time in the day. And I'm sure that people can relate to that, right? You've got so much to do and not enough time. And she said, so I'm going to offer an hour of my time to each and every one of you. There were 15 of us in the room. And she said, I'm going to offer an hour of time to each and every one of you. You can ask me to garden. You can ask me to talk with you. You can ask me to do your dishes, whatever you want, but I'm going to give you each an hour. And her whole point was, if I want to find more time in my life, I need to give more time. Well, this was in a day when I had just started to come around to Unity. I really didn't know a lot about Unity. I had only been in a couple of years. I was floored by this. I was absolutely blown away. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, offering 15 hours of your time when you don't have enough time to begin with. 12 of us took her up on it. And do you know that after she met with all 12 of us, I think it took about a 3 or 4 week period of time. After she finished that, she came into class and she said, you know what? I have more time now. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing, right? The things that we make time for it just comes back tenfold, right? So again, if I'm looking for more of anything, if I'm looking for more love, if I'm looking for more prosperity, if I'm looking for, I have to give. And when I give, it works. The other thing is acceptance of self and others. My acceptance of myself being exactly being okay in this moment, releasing all judgment, being willing to sit here and say, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm a good person. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this moment, right? Acceptance of self, and not being that judgmental Kathleen that, you're not this enough and you're not that enough and you have to do more of this. No, no, no. All is well in this moment. And I am, I'm perfect at my core. We are all perfect at our core. And so we just call more of that forth, so to speak. And acceptance of others. I do not mean accepting bad behavior. I do not mean to accept others to the point where you feel like they're walking all over you. That is not what I mean. But acceptance of a situation and or a person in this moment is necessary for me to make progress, right? If I accept you as you are, I can meet you where you're at. You can meet me where I'm at, and we go from there. It does not mean I approve of bad behavior. It never means that. That's just a few examples of, what actions we can take that, we could label moving our feet, right? And I'm sure you could all come up with a bunch more. The idea that I want to share something with you. I think most of you are familiar with Paul Hasselbeck, and he does the daily word every Sunday. He interprets the absolute word, right? He changes the language slightly. It is with the permission of Unity Worldwide or Unity World Headquarters. He has their permission to do this. And he changes it just slightly so that it is speaking not of a God that is separate from us, but as an innate divine power. So his daily word for today says, everyone gets knocked down now and then, but I choose to get up. By claiming universal ideas in prayer, engaging my imagination to see success, and using discernment and will to choose my next step, I strengthen my resilience in the face of defeat or discouragement. I draw on the power of my innate divinity. We can do that, right? Now, Paul's interpretation of languaging and all of that, his emphasis is on, I am doing this. I am choosing this. And the I am does refer to the divine, does refer to God, right? But God is not a being. God is an energy, a principle. It's inside of us. It's all around us, right? I draw on the power of my innate divinity. Imagine what life would look like on this planet if more people lived from that understanding, from that consciousness, and their actions displayed it. Wouldn't it be amazing? Right? It can happen. I think, this is my personal opinion, I believe we're moving in that direction. I honestly believe that more and more people, and we need a lot more, but I believe more and more people are moving in this direction. to draw from within and to demonstrate it. It's all I've got. Honestly, when I think about the state of the world, when I think about social media and news and blah, 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 when I think of all of it, I can sometimes feel a lot of stress in my body. Everything tenses up. And the only thing that I have decided I can do is to continue to demonstrate these principles, use them in every part of my life. Nothing is separate, right? So therefore, it affects everything. I don't just demonstrate on Sunday mornings, right? I demonstrate at work. I demonstrate at gatherings with friends. I try to demonstrate with my family, right? You know how family dynamics are sometimes, right? But we keep trying. We're doing pretty good, right? But the point is that it is not something that I demonstrate in only certain compartments of my life, because my life is one big human experience. And as a spiritual being, when I remember, I can do this. I can demonstrate. And I invite you all to consider this week the same things. Let's do this. Let's demonstrate. Let's move our feet together. And so it is. Amen. Let's just take a couple of minutes to do a short meditation on the words that I spoke, and see where spirit leads you. It's time to get settled wherever you're seated. Just begin by taking a few deep breaths and closing your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And just breathe in, breathe out. Feel your body relax into the chair. Feel the muscles in your body becoming less rigid. With each breath, you relax more and more. May the words that I speak now be the words of your own heart. It is not enough for me to know the principles that I have been studying, that I have been believing. I must put them into action. I am choosing to live the truth that I know. When I pray, I move my feet. I am willing to take action, to demonstrate for others so that they can see what it is like to live from this understanding. When I rise up with strength and desire to succeed, I am demonstrating resilience. I claim universal ideas and prayer, and I engage my imagination to see success. I draw on the power of my innate divinity. I do believe that I am made in the image and the likeness of God. I am completely connected to divine mind. Nothing can ever break that bond. I affirm who and what I truly am, fully human and fully divine. I rise up. I shine for all to see. I am resilience in expression. Today, I am committed to showing all what life can be like, living out these principles out loud. There is an infinite and eternal divine energy within me and all around me. I trust it. I believe it. I demonstrate it. I declare, I am a divine expression for all to see. And so it is. Amen. Before you open your eyes, just take a couple of deep breaths. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Welcome back, friends.